Hello, beautifuls. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I want to take a moment and thank each and every one of you, whether you are new here or you've been following me from my clumsy beginnings to where I am now. I do appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm so happy you're here, whether you're new or you're returning. And I thank you so much for your engagement and your support. I wanted to talk a little bit today about forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of those topics on our journey of self-discovery that we always run into. And in this place, there is varying degrees of difficulty. And for some people, they have drawn a line and there are these things that are forgivable and these things that are not. And yet we see that there are people who have been able to forgive another for the most heinous and atrocious acts. And some might say, well, you know, they're a better person than I am, or they're made of something I'm not. Well, the truth is, we are all made of the same stuff, and we are all capable of forgiving anything and anyone. And the key to that forgiveness is how we are viewing another. We have two ways of looking at people. We can look at them and we can see the body, we can see the persona, we can see the physical aspect and the mental concept that we hold of them, even that they hold of themselves. And in that place, it's pretty hard to forgive. There is another way of looking at people, and that is when we look at the soul, or the deepest aspect of them that is connected to us. Now, when we look at somebody from that aspect, what we see when we see them do the most reprehensible, maybe even despicable things, we are connecting to the soul aspect of them, the part that we know is longing to be loved, is acting out in pain and longing, in desire for connection, in a hunger for what and who they truly are. And when we can look at somebody from that aspect, we don't inhibit ourselves from forgiveness. We actually open up to them, understanding that that isn't who they are. That is an acting out of a need, a desperate need that is longing to be fulfilled. And when we can look at another that way, it's so empowering. But in order to see another from that aspect, we have to first be able to nurture that level of forgiveness within. And some might say it might even be easier to forgive others than it is to forgive ourselves, right? But when we can look at ourselves beyond the concept that we hold of who we are, who we've been told that we are, what we look like, you know, our body, our status, all of those things. And when we look within and we connect to our heart center, that place where we are connected to everything in the universe. And then when we make a mistake, we understand that it was just an expression of us trying to get attention of something that needs to be healed, something that needs to be addressed. And in that place, it's really not a mistake. It's part of our growth. It's part of our journey. And when we can nurture that 100% for ourselves, then it is easy for us to connect to that aspect in another, and it makes it very, very difficult for us to judge them I know that this is probably a new perspective for some, and if you stayed to the end, I do appreciate it. The invitation today for each and every one of us, if you're so willing, is to be mindful today of the level of judgment you have for yourself. And in those moments when you are judging yourself, is it possible to shift that, to reframe it, and understand that in that place, maybe you didn't act in the way that you wanted to, you didn't say what you wanted to say, but that it really was part of you that is asking for attention. And can you find some tenderness towards that aspect rather than judging it? It will definitely shift your experience. I thank you so much for listening to this perspective, and until we speak again, please be well.